For a player that exuded brilliance and elegance on the ball, a player in the name of Dimitar Berbatov of Manchester United was a very questionable move, but it proved to be very vital for Manchester United in the upcoming years. A player of Manchester United's caliber needed a striker that was the complete polar opposite to Wayne Rooney. Berbatov was a striker that used to play for Bayer Leverkusen back in the day, but he came to England to play for Tottenham Hotspurs. Now, he wasn't a striker that embodied goals, but he was one of those strikers that when you were watching him on the naked eye, he was a player that would apply very, very brilliant tricks and flicks, and he would make players come into the game with his style of play. Now, as mentioned earlier, Dimitar Berbatov wasn't a striker that was just about goals. His first touch and his calmness on the ball not only attracted not a lot of players, but a lot of fans to his calm, cool, collected style of play. But in some instances, it caused a lot of naysayers to have a bad claim on the name of Dimitar Berbatov. When he moved to Manchester United in 2008, Dimitar Berbatov came again. As I mentioned before, he came to complement the player that was Wayne Rooney, because Wayne Rooney had a different style of play to that of Dimitar Berbatov. Wayne Rooney was a very combative, aggressive. He was a very persistent striker. And when you have Dimitar Berbatov, that was the polar opposite of Carlos Tevez and Wayne Rooney, you could have a myriad, you could have a hybrid of different strikers that you could use at your disposal, I should say. I'm kind of running right now. But that is what Sir Alex Ferguson did, and he signed Dimitar Berbatov because he saw that he had this style of play that he needed to attract not only the fans but to give Manchester United a different perspective of attacking football. Again, we had four strikers in the name of Cristiano Ronaldo, Dimitar Berbatov, Wayne Rooney, and Carlos Tevez, also with Luis Nani. And with these five attackers, Manchester United embodied attacking football on the pitch. Now, bringing things full circle back to Dimitar Berbatov. Dimitar Berbatov assisted Tevez in that Anfield game against Liverpool. And ever since in his first season, he was getting goals, but it took a while for him to score goals. But when he was not scoring goals, the way how he moved on the ball, Manchester United fans haven't seen that since Eric Cantona in the 90s. So when they saw a player of Dimitar Berbatov standing, not only did he get a standing ovation, but they saw this as a depiction, a description, an embodiment of what Eric Cantona was like in the 90s. And they were saying that this player has potential to be a great at Manchester United. Now, Dimitar Berbatov, again, he was scoring goals, he was taking souls, but the player of Dimitar Berbatov standing in his first season, he got a couple of goals against West Brom. The way how he scored those goals was very, very technical. I don't think if Lukaku scored those goals, his knees would be in place. The goals that he scored was very impeccable. It was very second to none. His technical ability, again, Dimitar Berbatov wasn't a striker that was based on pace. He was based on a player that would put players in their place on the floor because he was very technically gifted and he had dribbling ability. But his capabilities of scoring, of taking space, exploiting space, and bringing players into the game. When he was a striker that could not only score goals with his back from goal, but with his back to goal, he would bring players into play, and he was more of a deep line center forward, which means that he was a striker. He was a secondary striker whenever Wayne Rooney was the main striker, or Carlos Tevez or Cristiano Ronaldo was up top. So that was what Berbatov brought to the side. He was very dynamic. He was very integrated. in his style of play. He was not one dimensional, he was not dysfunctional in his style of play, but he knew how to use his intellectual capabilities and abilities so that he could help Manchester United to not only get goals but to play a certain way on the pitch. Now, in his second season, Dimitar Berbatov wasn't. It took him a while. That was 2009, 2010. But the main man of that season was Wayne Rooney. So Dimitar Berbatov took a second. He was the passenger in terms of the two strikers. Because Sir Alex Ferguson mostly of the time played two strikers in Wayne Rooney and Dimitar Berbatov. And in that season, 2009 2010, most of the time Berbatov would spend his time behind the number 9, which was Wayne Rooney. So he played a second fiddle to that of Wayne Rooney, but he would get his goals here and there. Not only did he attract a lot of fans to his style of play based on his calmness, his smoothness on the ball, but also he attracted a few critics basically saying that his calmness, they were making mistakes for his calmness, for laziness. Person were saying, why is this guy not going to the box? You're a center forward, bro. Get into the box and score those goals. Don't be a lazy slug. Don't be a lazy slug. Just because Wayne Rooney is scoring more goals than you, that doesn't give you the provocation or the green ammunition to lay back and score goals. Get your ass in the box. That's what persons were saying. But Dimitar Berbatov basically said that, yo, I'm a cool, calm, collected, relaxed guy. You have persons that are very nervous on the ball. They're very anxious on the ball. They can't even put a pass in its place. They don't have a first touch. And you're criticizing me for being laid, cool, calm, collected on the ball because that's my style of play and my natural nature. That is not me. Although I'm a center forward, that is not me. And that is what Berbatov was basically saying to his haters and his harsh critics. That yes, I am not as aggressive or combative like my compatriot Wayne Rooney, but I am the polar opposite of Wayne Rooney, and that makes a complementary couple. A complementary couple. I mean, it takes two to tango. So in the duo of Wayne Rooney and Dimitar Berbatov, Manchester United saw a different football, especially with not the exchange, but with the departure of Cristiano Ronaldo to the Bernabeu in the summer of 2009 to Real Madrid. So Berbatov knew he had to fill in a few slots when it come on to goals, because Ronaldo scored a lot of goals in his last two seasons for Manchester United, and he saw that it was very important for him to get goals along with Wayne Rooney. Now in his second season, yes, he got a couple goals, and yes, he was getting assists, and he was scoring very, very technically gifted goals where he would score bicycle kicks, he would do flicks. I remember I was watching a video where he did this flick to Valencia in space. Like he would just one time it over the top to Valencia. Valencia just with the outside of his foot just found the roof for the goal and scored. That was the type of striker Dimitar Berbatov was at Manchester United. Now a player a club of Manchester United standing, that is the type of football that we wanted to see day in and day out. That is what the fans came to see. Not only to get 3 points and to get top place in the Premier League, but they wanted to see very attractive, very enthralling and mesmerizing football at Old Trafford. And so was asked, so was given through the names of Wayne Rooney, Dimitar Berbatov and other players. But Dimitar Berbatov, in his position at Manchester United, despite all that, person still thought that he was a very lazy player. This is me. Person were criticizing him. Person were saying, yo, why is this guy not scoring goals? Why is he not putting himself in a position to score goals? Come. So yes, persons were saying, why is this guy not getting himself in the box and scoring goals? Why is this guy not putting himself in position to score goals? You're a striker. That is what a striker embodies and entails. But if you go through the details of the style of play of Dimitar Berbatov didn't only want fans to see him for his goal scoring abilities and his capabilities of assisting. He wanted to show a different dimension to his game. And that is what he did on the pitch. Now in his third season, he became top scorer for Manchester United in that season. He won Golden Boot, and he was also voted as PFA's. Um, I think he was PFA's player. No, I don't think he was PFA's player of the year, but he was in the team of the season, alongside with I think Anelka. No, not Anelka, but Carlos Tevez when he moved to Manchester City. When he moved to Manchester City, there was boots to fill. Wayne Rooney, yes, he was getting his goals, but this is where things changed for Dimitar Berbatov. Person was saying, yo, why are you not getting 20 goals a season for Manchester United? Why are you not getting yourself in position to score goals, a lot of goals for Manchester United? And Sir Alex Ferguson said, Rooney, you're going to be that deep line centre forward now. He's basically switching the game now with his two strikers again. In the previous season, Wayne Rooney was the main man getting over 30 goals that season. He could have got more, but due to his injury, that was cut short. But in the coming season, which was 2010-2011, he showed that he wanted to show his goal scoring capabilities. And Sir Alex Ferguson made Dimitar Berbatov the main focal point up top. In that season, he got 3 hat-tricks, which is the first since Ruud van Nistelrooy got in one season for Manchester United. 3 hat-tricks, whether that was in our competition or just in the Premier League, but he got 3 hat-tricks that season. In one of those hat-tricks, he scored a super hat-trick. He got 5 goals against Blackburn at Old Trafford, which put him into the history box of one of those players that was the first, or one of the first players to score a handful of goals against Blackburn. His display on the pitch, not only through goals, the 5 goals that he got, but I remember him playing a very impeccable pass to Nani on the right hand side of the right wing, and Nani, because of Berbatov's run in the box, he got the goal. He rewarded him because of his run with the goal. Plus, he gave him the ball, so he had to give him the assist. So that season, he got at least over 20 goals in the Premier League. He got a Premier League. He shared the Golden Boot with Carlos Tevez, although Carlos Tevez went on the other side of Manchester. Manchester United fans didn't want, Berbatov to share Golden Boot, with his rival Carlos Tevez, but that was done. And in those goals in one of those hat tricks he scored a hat trick against Liverpool, and we're playing against Liverpool tomorrow. But at Old Trafford, when he scored that hat trick was not an easy hat trick. He scored 2 very good goals for Manchester United. 2/3 of that goal. One was a header. I think it was actually 2 headers. 2 headers and 1 overhead kick against, and he was the first player since some other player to score a hat trick against Liverpool. Now, when again Berbatov, yes, he had his consistent inconsistencies. Yes, he has his inconsistencies. Persons were still criticizing him for his lethargic, quote unquote, laziness on the ball. Persons were saying, bro, you're too laid back, you're too calm. You need a fire lit under your butt. You need to be more robust like Wayne Rooney. But he basically said 2 seasons ago that, yo, I'm not that type of player. So what you see is what you get. So in that season when he played for Manchester United, he granted Manchester United the Premier League title because they grab it back from Chelsea, and also the style of play that season. Although he basically switched positions somewhat from Wayne Rooney again. Wayne Rooney was the main man last season, or Berbatov was the main man that season, getting most of United's goals, and through the assistance of Luis Nani on the right wing and the left wing, both of them used to sing on the same pitch, assigning goals and assists. So that season in 2010 and 11, he was one of Manchester United's and Europe's best attacking strikers, not only in the Premier League but in the world of football. Now, in his last season at Manchester United, persons. Now, before I get into that, when in the final of the Champions League against Barcelona in 2010, May 2011, not 2010, persons questioned the notion why was it that Berbatov was left out of the Manchester United squad against Barcelona. Person were saying, "Yo, this guy was a top scorer this season. So why are you cutting loose? Why are you cutting ties? Why are you cutting that umbilical cord with Berbatov, cutting him from the 18-man squad? Why are you doing that? You want a scorer in that game, but at that time we were playing against the best, quote unquote, the best Barcelona side in football history. That football Barcelona side was very possession based. And Sir Alex Ferguson knew that a player of Berbatov's standing, he was not a striker that had a lot of stamina like the Manchester United midfield at the time, Jason Park. So what he did was to mark Messi with Jason Park and cut Berbatov from the squad, because he knew that if Berbatov started, he was not going to have that work rate um, to get back the ball. So he started Wayne Rooney with Javier Hernandez as the main striking partner, and we lost 3-1 in the final. Now, persons were questioning there were speculations, there was jeopardy above the name of Berbatov in regards to his future at Manchester United. And basically, in his last season at Manchester United, we saw a different Berbatov. Yes, we knew that Berbatov was getting old, but we saw a different Berbatov that we didn't expect, especially a player that was very elegant the previous season. Berbatov's form was dipping slowly. He wasn't scoring goals, he wasn't getting in those positions, he was very inconsistent, and he was getting injured more consistently, and he was left out of the starting level. And so Wayne Rooney had to take up his position as the main man, of course, with Javier Hernandez, and with the emergence of Danny Welbeck from loan, back from Sunderland, and he would come back in Sir Alex Ferguson plans so that he could improve the attacking lineup. Because we had Michael Owen, we had Danny Welbeck, Wayne Rooney, and Berbatov. But the main men that were starting was Javier Hernandez with Wayne Rooney. Kind of have a tongue twister moment right there. So with all that being said, without getting lengthier, he had a few goal droughts, and he broke those goal droughts without a shadow of a doubt. And he had another hat-trick for Manchester United against Wigan. But still, persons were very skeptical of his future at Manchester United. Persons knew that his time was getting shorter by the hour, by the minute, by the second. And so said, so was done. In that season, because Manchester United got knocked out of the Champions League in the group stages, and we got knocked out of the Europa League by Athletic Bilbao, we were not the best. We weren't playing at our best that season. We were trophyless that season. Yes, we were trophyless that season. Yes, he got a hat-trick. Yes, he got goals, but it wasn't nearly as much as the previous season. But despite all of that being said, Dimitar Berbatov is one of the most elegant, most brilliant strikers to ever play for Manchester United. He's more elegant than Wayne Rooney. He's more elegant than Ruud van Nistelrooy. He's more elegant than Henrik Larsson. He's more elegant than Louis Saha. He's more elegant than Robin van Persie, although Van Persie had his moments of flair and technical ability, and he showed a different dimension to his game. When we're talking about his overall display on a consistent basis, there is no other player in the 2000s, late 2000s I should say, that depicted, descripted, and described a player of the elegance of Dimitar Berbatov since Eric Cantona's time at United in the 90s. And unfortunately, because he had bad form in his last season, he wasn't the same player the previous season, he had to cut ties with Manchester United and go to Fulham in London. He had to cut ties and go to London with Fulham. But despite his 5 seasons, I think 5 seasons, 2008, 2009, 2009, 2010, 2010, 2011, 4 seasons, we still have a reason to see him as one of the best strikers in terms of overall display, his whole play, the way he will find space, his dribbling abilities. He wasn't the fastest player, but what he embodied on the pitch was second to none as a striker. Most strikers want to score goals. They want to see their name on not only the team sheet but on the scoring sheet. But Berbatov didn't really care about that. He wanted to show a different dimension to his game. He wanted to revolutionize the number 9 position. And he's one of those strikers. He didn't have the same pace or personified persona as Ronaldo when he was at Inter Milan, but in terms of his elegance, the way how he brilliantly moved and used his body in space, taking players, putting players in their place and using that space to bring players into play was second to none. Wayne Rooney was very good and he was very aggressive on etc. But when you had a cool, calm, collected player like a Coca-Cola bottle like Berbatov, it is hard not to love the way how he played. How he brought himself, he carried himself on the pitch. So despite him not getting all the goals, a lot of goals at Manchester United, or getting the potential out of goals he could have gotten, even when he was not scoring, he showed a difference on the pitch. He knew how to header the ball. He knew how to bring players into play. He could pass the ball. He could ping a pass. But even though he could ping passes and etc., unfortunately his last season he passed his prime. But he has accomplished what he has accomplished at United. He's won the Premier League. That's the reason why he left Spurs, because he wanted to win the Premier League and he knew that his age was of the essence. And he left Manchester United as a Premier League trophy winner. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Liverpool match. I'll be doing a match reaction after the match. Peace.